keep standing.
If I don't do that, I may even ask you about it.
Well, you can do your thing, but you know I'm going to do mine.
Yes, ma'am.
Serious is good. Before we send for the jury, there is a juror who came in and had a hardship of some sort and was called to come back today. And told to come back today, and he arrived today, and the jury manager took his phone number. He's not on any of the panels, of which we have like 7. I don't think we're going to get to him. Y'all agree? State?
Yes,
Defense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Problem solved. Thank you. Thank you. Now we're ready. Thank you, Mr. Jackson.
Okay, you ready for the jury?
All right, for the jury. Be seated, please.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to see all of you again. We're ready to resume jury selection. Mr. Boren, you can proceed, I believe, with juror 6.
Thank you. Good morning. All right, so we'll start with a little bit about your background you have. You work as a lube tech, correct? Okay. And how long have you worked in that field? I'm sorry, how long? 2 years. 2 years, okay. And have you ever worked in any other field than that, or is that mainly?
I work for a diesel company
Okay.
and for Chick-fil-A.
And with the diesel company, what'd you do?
Pretty much like a system.
Okay. Okay. You didn't answer too many questions, so this shouldn't take long. You are familiar with messaging. You use text messages, obviously, but you also do some type of messaging on your phone with other applications. Okay, what types of applications do you use?
Messenger, Instagram, Snapchat,
Okay. And going through those, let me get through that list again. Just let me know if you're familiar with these. Are you familiar with YouTube? Again, what do you use that for? As far as Craigslist, you're familiar with Craigslist? And do you ever use that? Okay. And just, I can see you shaking your head, but the court report's got to take down a verbal response, okay? Sorry about that. So you said you are familiar with Craigslist or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. How about Twitter? Do you use Twitter?
Yes, sir.
You know what it is, though. Okay. Same thing with Reddit. Are you familiar with Reddit? Okay. Kik, K-I-K?
Yeah.
Okay. And how are you familiar with Kik?
Friends.
What's that?
Friends.
Friends? Okay. And do you use that one? How about Backpage?
No.
Whisper? Scout? And you already said Snapchat. You use that. I believe you told us that you watch legal TV shows sometimes, either fictional, non-fictional. Tell me what you particularly like to watch, or you do watch.
First 48, House.
Okay.
NCAA.
Gotcha. I think you also told us that you followed a criminal case before, either in the news or watched in the courtroom or on TV.
The OJ.
All right. I believe you've had the opportunity to care for somebody who's been disabled or sick or something like that.
My grandma, my grandpa.
Okay. I believe that you've had a bad experience with law enforcement before. Okay. Tell me a little about that.
It was me and two other buddies. We were at the truck meet. Next time we know, we got like 8 cops coming out of the spur. They're going towards the mall. Apparently, some Mexicans stabbed each other or something. Well, we want to be nosy. So we run over there. Well, we got a spotlight on us. And the people who they were looking for were in a single cab Chevrolet. We were in a single cab Chevrolet. So they pulled us over. I looked behind me, and there's 8 cops behind us. I thought there was only one. And then they put us on the ground. We're trying to explain what happened. That's all I want to say about that.
Okay. And was this something we all actually arrested in this, or was it once they got into it and figured out what was going on?
They got into it about 30 minutes later, back and forth and back and forth. They
Right.
realized we weren't people.
Okay. So kind of you're being nosy, and then you end up in a mess. Okay. All right. I believe you stated you've known somebody who's been arrested before. Okay. Tell me about that.
Like 3 or 4 people that work with us, DUIs. A buddy of mine that was arrested for fraud. Another one that was arrested for battery. And then one that was arrested for selling drugs. I know a lot of people.
Okay. Now, do you know enough about the ones that you told us to know enough about their cases to have an opinion as to whether they were treated fairly or not?
Maybe 1 or 2 of them.
1 or 2 of them were treated fairly, and then the other ones were not?
I'm not sure.
Oh, you're not sure. Okay. I believe you stated that you've had to give a statement to the police before? Okay, tell me about that.
It's going on my uncle. He was sending like threats to us and all.
Okay.
So we had to go to court.
Okay. I believe you said that you've known somebody who's been in a relationship or dated from meeting somebody online. Okay, tell me about that.
So one of my buddies, he said he was married, but he was just trying to, I guess. And he told me about it. He wanted me to do it. I'm not.
Okay. So he was married, but he said he was going to go online and meet women?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know if he ever met any?
I'm not sure.
Okay. And I'll be too nosy. I'm going to ask one more question. Do you know what site or what he used to do that? Or what messaging service or anything? Okay.
I think it was me.
Okay. Okay. You've actually contested a ticket before?
I actually have one that I'm trying to do now.
Okay. And what, just generally, obviously, is it just a ticket? What was the driving offense?
Failure to maintain lanes and seatbelt.
Okay. Okay. I think you've answered some other stuff about kids in cars and opinions and things like that. So I'm going to hold off on talking to you about those things until we do it in private. Other than that, what do you like to do in your free time if you have any? What type of hobbies?
Pretty much just working on my truck.
Working on your truck, okay. All right, thank you, sir. Good morning.
I'm going to call you Mr. W, if that's okay. Did you grow up here? Did you grow up here in Glenn County? You went to high school here? When did you finish high school? Okay. How far did you go?
12.
You left here your senior year? Okay. And you indicated some work history with a diesel company and Chick-fil-A. Was that while you were still in school?
No, that was the Chick-fil-A when I was in school.
Okay.
And then I quit the diesel company.
All right, and you've been working with Express for 2 years.
About a year. I worked at another company.
Okay. All right, you indicated some use of social media. In particular, you said you use Messenger, Facebook Messenger.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Do you post very much on Facebook?
Somewhat.
What kind of things do you post?
Pretty much just videos.
Videos? Where do you get the videos that you...
They just come on the feed. I'll share them.
Okay. All right, so videos come to you through Facebook, and sometimes you open them, watch them, like them, and then you just repost them. Okay. All right. Is that the primary thing that you use Facebook for?
Yeah. I don't get on it much other than that. Everything I've seen, I've already seen before.
Okay. All right, what kind of videos are we talking about?
Pretty much just truck videos.
All right, trucks are kind of your thing, right? All right. You drive a truck to the courthouse this morning? Oh, yeah. All right, what kind of truck?
Single cab, Chevy.
All right, you also use Instagram and Snapchat. All right, how often do you use those?
I get on it probably 5 or 6 times a day.
5 or 6 times a day? Both of them? Okay. And what kind of things do you post, or do you ever?
I don't really ever post anything on Instagram.
Okay. All right, you just scroll through and look at people's pictures. Right. Do you ever like them? Okay. Do you ever comment, "Hey, nice wheels"?
Not all the time.
Okay. What about Snapchat?
I use that probably all day.
All right, what do you mean?
They send me pictures, I'll send them back. I have a bunch of friends on it.
All right. All right, we take our morning break at whenever the judge lets us do that. Are you going to go back and check your phone to see what anybody sent you on Snapchat?
Oh, I don't. That's too long to walk.
Too
many stairs.
Oh, it's in your car or in your truck?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you couldn't bring your phone into the courthouse.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. If it were here, you'd check it during the break.
I'll be on it right now.
You ever date online? You ever find girls to date online? No. But you said you had a friend who indicated that.
Yeah, he was trying to get rid of
I know it probably sounds like, in your head, it probably sounds like you are yelling. But your voice is very soft. If you could speak up just a tad, it'll help us.
All right.
Sorry about that. And all right, so you said you have a friend who is married, but he's meeting women online.
Yes, sir.
But you don't know what.
I don't keep up with this person online.
Okay. He just said this is something he shared with you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And I'm assuming that he shared with you that he's doing this just for hookups or something like that?
Just to flirt.
All right. Is this somebody that you work with? Okay. You're not married and you don't have any children? Okay. All right. The incident that you were telling us about regarding the mess that you got into at the mall, you did say it was at the mall, right? How long ago was this? Oh, so this is pretty recent. Okay. You're with some buddies in your trucks. You see a bunch of lights. Obviously, some law enforcement. You see a bunch of lights. Y'all want to check it out. So you head that direction. What I missed is how do we go from you going over there just to see what's going on to being taken down?
The people who were there around it when it was happening, the truck was driving around.
Okay.
When we rode over there, they said they put a spotlight on us, and the cop said, yeah, those people said that y'all were doing it. That was the truck, so that's when they started following us. Pulled us over.
Okay. So the police pulled you over, and was it like a felony type takedown where guns were drawn and everything?
Yeah. They had guns pointed at us and everything.
Okay. Did they put you on the ground on your stomach?
I mean, they did everything right for what they had to do.
Right.
But I didn't feel I should have been able to kind of tell myself
Okay.
before they'd done all that. But
all right. So the part that I'm missing is it was your understanding that somebody told the police it was those guys, or it was the guys in that truck?
after we done told our situation and all, they were talking to us.
Okay. And they told you that's the information, that somebody had told them that it was y'all's truck?
They were looking for Mexicans.
Okay. Did you have any Mexicans with you?
A couple of them look like that. So,
Okay. All right, so at the end of the day, somebody gave the police bad information that they followed up on, which ended up in y'all being taken down. Okay. All right, you've had several friends that were arrested. You said for fraud, one for battery, and one for selling drugs. Are these people that you work with?
just one of them.
Okay. Have you followed their cases at all? Okay. Are you been in jail right now? Like out on bond, their cases. Okay. You currently have a citation that you were testing. Is that here in Greene County? So, you have a right to remain silent. You have to talk about that. But is that something you can tell us about?
I was turning the red light. This was like I come by and next to me turn my head right here in my house. So I go ahead and go turn on the light. That's the way now. And then turn the light on. That's basically
Okay. Because you got over thinking that you were going to do that.
yes, sir.
Okay. You intentionally changed lanes. Did you use a signal?
Yes, sir.
Did you tell him that?
He didn't want to listen to me.
Okay.
I tried to explain to him, and he said he'll be back. And he came back with a ticket.
All right. So have you got a court date coming up for that?
When I sent it back, that was like a year ago, but I haven't heard anything since.
Okay. You told us that you'd heard public service announcements or stories about not leaving animals in cars.
Yes, sir.
Was that something you saw online?
Yes, sir.
Did you see a video?
Well, I seen a video of like I guess a football player sitting in a car or something. That only happens for like 15 minutes and he
Okay. Where'd you see that?
I think that was on Facebook.
Somebody you knew posted that?
Yeah.
When'd you see this video?
6 months ago.
Okay. I may have written this down incorrectly. I've got that you answered in the affirmative that you were familiar with a child who falls asleep easily in a car seat. I was going to say, you don't have, unless you've got a younger brother or sister, you don't have kids. Okay. We'll follow up with a couple of matters with you in just a little bit, okay? Thank you. Good morning. How are you? Okay. Let's see. You are retired from a security company you worked for years, correct? Okay. Did you ever work in any profession other than that, or has that been pretty much your whole professional career?
That was pretty much it. I was in telephone operator.
A high school what? I'm sorry?
Telephone operator.
Okay. All right. So, you know somebody in the military, correct?
My two brothers and brothers-in-law, two brothers-in-law are all military.
Okay. In what branches?
Army.
Army. Okay. All right. All right. I think you have 4 grandchildren, correct? Are they all local?
2 are.
Okay.
2 live in Seattle.
Oh, wow. How often do you get to see them?
2 to 3 times a year. They just spent 2 weeks with me.
Okay. Over the summer?
Yeah.
That's great. I used to go to my grandparents' house up in Franklin, North Carolina, in the middle of nowhere in the mountains, and we'd spend a couple of weeks each summer.
Yeah. That's great to look forward to.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I think it's fun. You get to send them back, right? Yes. All right. All right. You also know somebody that's had some type of legal training or worked in the legal field or something? Okay. Can you think of anybody specifically now, like attorneys or paralegals or anything? Okay. Do you still keep in touch with him, or?
We're still friends on Facebook.
Okay. All right.
The lawyer that handled I guess it was I don't know if he was called.
Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah. Well, it seems like he's been a great deal of years, so. I'm sorry to hear that about your son. How old was he when this happened?
25.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. I believe you've known some people who are in the medical profession as well. Oh, wow. Okay. Seems like your roots are pretty deep here. You also know somebody that's in IT or works with computers and technology?
My sons-in-law and my 2 daughters.
Okay. Now, you have been on either a grand jury or a jury before, correct?
Yes.
Okay, which one?
I don't know the lingo, and I
Okay.
can't remember.
Okay.
One was had to do with drugs.
Okay. And when that happened, was it like this? Did you get selected for a jury, then sit in the box and hear witnesses from both sides?
Yes.
Okay. And was there another one that you sat on too?
Yes, and it was a lawsuit, a patient against the hospital.
Okay. And was that the same thing, like you were selected and heard from both sides? Okay. Well, let's talk. I'm sorry.
Excuse me.
No, go ahead.
There might have been more, but over the years I forgot.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize. That's
It's like I'm here every year or something.
well, you've been here a while, so yeah. Okay, so the first one, that would have been a criminal case with the drugs involved. And without telling me your verdict, were you as a jury able to reach a verdict in the case?
I was.
Okay.
I mean, it was pretty obvious.
Okay. And were you the foreperson?
No.
Okay. All right. In the, I guess what we would call a civil lawsuit where somebody's suing somebody else, were you able as a jury to reach a verdict in that case?
Yes.
And were you the foreperson in that case? Now, you attend church or another religious institution here?
I'm not a backslider, but yes, I'm an avid Catholic.
Okay. And what'd you say you're not a what?
Every Sunday.
I'm sorry?
I don't make it every Sunday, or,
Yes.
Mass, but I'm there as often as I can be, and a lot because of the grandchildren.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. And you don't use cell phones?
No.
Okay. Have you ever owned one, even like a flip phone or anything, or do you just stick with the landline? I'm sorry?
I had a company phone when I worked,
Okay.
but I turned it in when I retired.
Okay. And how long ago did you retire?
January 2012.
Okay. So now you just use the phone in your house, landline. Okay. Okay.
I get fussed at, but...
You fussed at? Who fussed?
Yes.
Because, well, maybe that's a good thing. You can't be, you can act that, hey, I'm sorry you couldn't get in touch with me. Yeah. It's kind of convenient. When you have cell phones, it's a little harder to give that excuse.
Well, I guess I'm a dinosaur, so...
Well, there have been several people that have chosen that same path, so that we've had in here. I think you've known somebody. Now, do you use computers and go on the internet and stuff? Okay. Now, in doing that, I think you said that you've known somebody, or you've talked to somebody on the internet that you haven't met before, or just engaged in some kind of discussion or something like that.
Yes, my ex-husband's college, friends.
Okay.
We have introduced themselves. You almost every day get if you use Facebook, get a new friend that you don't know. He contacts, your friends.
Right. Kind of friends of friends.
Yes.
Okay. I believe you said that you posted an opinion online before, or given an opinion, or responded to something.
I have. I can't pinpoint it, but...
Okay, would that be like the BrunswickNews.com, or would it be something like Facebook? Somebody posted something and you responded to it, or?
Yes.
Okay. Now you watch some legal TV shows, correct? Okay, what do you watch?
Blue Bloods.
Blue Bloods. Okay. It's got Magnum Magnum PI, right?
I love Tom Selleck.
Yeah. I just know him as Magnum PI. So, all right. So Blue Bloods. Anything else? Or is that pretty much it? Do you ever watch any of the talk shows or anything like that?
Yeah, occasionally.
Okay. And which ones do you watch?
Ellen DeGeneres.
Okay.
Judy Cabot, believe it or not, is back over.
Okay. All right.
What called the young people.
Yes, ma'am. And you volunteered with children before?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me about that.
Well, Cub Scouts, Girl Friends, Vacation Bible School.
You've also worked in a paying capacity with kids. Is that back when you were working with the high school?
Well, when my children were little, I was a substitute teacher at
Okay.
St. Francis.
Okay.
And then at Glen Academy, and at Rosemont Elementary. And then we moved to Virginia, and I worked in a middle school there.
Okay.
As a substitute.
Okay. Glen Academy. Is that the school like right down the street?
Yeah.
Okay. You've also had the opportunity to take care of somebody who's either been very sick or disabled or something of that nature. Tell me about that. Okay. Okay. Now, you've actually had a good experience with law enforcement at some point? Okay. And you've known somebody who's been arrested before, like all of us, so tell me about that.
My son, unfortunately.
I'm sorry to hear about that. What generally, if you don't mind me asking? Some of your...
Drugs and alcohol.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm happy to say he's rehabilitated
That's great.
alcoholic.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear he's doing better. Yes. I can tell you're a devout Catholic. You just... All right. And you've actually lived in Cobb County before?
Pardon me?
You've lived in Cobb County before? Or do you know somebody who's lived in... I'm sorry. Do you have family who lives there?
My daughter lived in Tyrone, which is near Atlanta, and I'm not really sure of that.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Tyrone is in Fayette County,
Yeah.
which is... It's south of the city, kind of.
Okay, now.
But probably to y'all here, it's all the same place, right? It's Atlanta. Traffic, mess. Okay. All right. I really don't have a whole lot else. When you have free time, what do you like to do in your free time?
I like to cook and sew.
Okay.
Watch TV. I recently, by the way,
Oh, okay.
had an opportunity to experience virtual reality.
Virtual reality. How'd you do that?
My son-in-law, and I gotta say, you should all try it. It was great.
What do? You like put on the goggles and it looks like you're somewhere else?
Yep.
Okay, and where were you virtually at when you put on the goggles? Where'd you go, like the moon or something? Or
In a Vincent Van Gogh painting.
really?
I did a rocket with John Lennon. Sitting right here, darling. Here thumbs up.
And where did you do that?
At my son-in-law's house.
Okay, so you had the equipment.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you, ma'am.
All right, so you've mentioned Facebook and that you get friend requests. You're friends with your former divorce lawyer and another lawyer. How often are you using Facebook?
Every day.
What is the what do you use it primarily for?
I communicate with my family, and friends, and read posts and
Okay. Are you posting pictures yourself?
husband, family, I'm family oriented.
Okay.
I don't do a lot of posting. I do a lot of just communicating with family and friends.
All right.
Husband, friends.
All right. And you, I think you said you read articles?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you ever watch videos?
Yes.
Do you ever repost any videos or articles that come to you? In other words, you share them. All right. What kind of subject matters are you usually reading about or watching videos about?
It's kind of hard. Like funny happenings, any family, grandchildren. If there's something bad that comes onto my feed, I like to just unfollow it because I don't want that to be on my page. Just interesting.
Okay, and that is that's the only real social media that you use. Facebook.
Well, I do FaceTime
Okay.
to talk to the children.
Okay.
My children and my grandchildren.
The ones that live in Tyrone.
Well, they're in Seattle.
All right.
And Messenger.
All right, and you have. Let me ask this: Do you want to serve on this jury?
I prefer not to have to do jury duty.
Okay.
It makes me uncomfortable, but it is our duty, so.
Okay. Did you know that you could have requested not to serve?
Yes, I just turned in an affidavit this morning.
Okay.
Requesting since I'm 70.
Okay.
Yes, not to have to do jury duty.
All right. You're making that request at this time.
I'm sorry?
You're making that request at this time, not to have to serve.
I thought I had done it last year with Miss Burnett before Miss Jamesky retired, and she said she would take care of it, but evidently we just dropped through the crack. I don't remember filling out a piece of paper. So I did this year.
Okay.
Or I did that just this morning.
Who did you give that request to?
The nice lady that's been kind of guiding us around,
Right.
blonde. I'm sorry, I don't know her.
That's okay. She is very nice.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll look into that. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. I always wait to see who's the first one that's going to mention Blue Bloods, so because that's my show.
I'm sorry.
Blue Bloods.
Yeah, I've seen episode 4,000.
Yeah. They run marathon one night a week, and you can watch like 4 episodes in a row. The thing about that show, the Donnie Wahlberg character, he kills somebody every episode. Have you ever noticed that? I mean, he shoots somebody every week. I just don't know how that's possible.
I'm just kind of concentrate on Mr. Stout.
Right. That'll just be all of our little secret, okay?
I tried to friend him on Facebook.
Gosh. I'm gonna end on a high note right there, Judge.
I think that's wise. Indeed. Please.
If I may, Judge, just follow up with one more question with juror number 7. So you're telling us right now you want to be excused from this jury service.
I would appreciate it.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Moving right along. Juror number 8. You work for International Auto Processing, is that correct? Okay. How long have you worked in that field?
About 6 years.
Okay. And other than that, what other fields have you worked in your professional career?
I spent 25 years as a press operator.
Okay. I need to ask, do you even read the news now? Are you so tired from looking at it?
Not very much anymore.
Yeah. Did you read it then while you were working on it? Okay. So you actually operated the printing presses?
Yes, sir.
All right. And have you ever worked in any other field other than that and what you're doing now? Okay. Okay. Let's see here. You know somebody who's been in the military before?
My father-in-law.
Okay. In what branches? Or Army? Okay. You originally from Brunswick?
Yes, sir.
All right. You also know some people who are in the medical field?
My mother was a nurse at the hospital for 37 years.
Okay. And you are a member or attend a church or another religious institution?
Family life.
Family life? Okay. All right. And you, much like juror number 7, you don't do texting and stuff like that. Okay. Now, do you actually have a cell phone?
I do have a cell phone. I don't get on the program where you call.
Yeah, you don't get on the phone applications and do all that mess. Okay.
Strictly phone.
Strictly phone. Okay. So, you use a computer sometimes?
No, sir.
You don't use a computer? Okay. So obviously you're not messing with social media and all that stuff. Okay. All right. You do watch some legal TV shows or something of that nature?
Yes. I was Law&Crime, Criminal Minds, NCIS.
Mm-hmm.
You know, different.
Yes, sir. And you watch any of the legal talk shows or anything like that?
I have seen Nancy Grace 3 times, just passed through the channel.
Mm-hmm.
And never really sit down with police and watch them.
All right. Now, you've known somebody who's been arrested before, correct?
Both my brothers, DUI.
Okay.
My nephew was arrested for gang-related activities.
Oh. Was that here in Brunswick?
Yes, sir.
Okay. About how long ago was it, if you remember?
He was arrested for about 12 years ago.
Okay. And do you know enough about it to have an opinion as to whether he was treated fairly or not?
Well, he was convicted and he went to prison.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's drug trial.
Okay. All right. I believe that you've known somebody who's been a victim of a homicide before.
Well, it was him. He was killed in prison.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's the same thing. And I go,
Yeah, no, that's absolutely the same thing, and I'm sorry to hear that. Do you remember where he was at, what prison he was at?
there's someone in North Georgia. I don't remember what word.
Do you know, did they actually prosecute the person who did it, or do you remember? Okay. All right. Now, obviously, you having kids, you transported children before to school and daycare and things like that. And you've got, is it 2 granddaughters?
2 granddaughters, one 8 and one is 19.
19 months, okay. And are they local?
Yes, sir, they are.
Okay. Do you have to take care of the grandkids?
With my 8-year-old, she stayed with me.
Okay.
The other one, I just pick her up occasionally, go by and visit.
Okay.
Still, right now, she's not really used to me.
Yeah.
I got the beard now, I used to have, and she kind of looks at me strange.
Wondering who you are?
I'm not around with her much anymore.
Right. Okay. All right. Now you've been in a Hyundai Tucson before, or driven one before?
Like I said, well, we drive a lot of cars by work at.
Yes, sir.
You know, that's about it.
Okay.
We're out in different cars.
Yes, sir. All right. I think all the other questions that we had to ask, or I was going to follow up on, we'll talk about individually. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Good morning. Your 8-year-old, you said, lives with you. Your 8-year-old granddaughter lives with you.
Yes, sir.
Do either of her parents live with you as well? Do you have a how long has this granddaughter lived with you her whole life?
Yes, sir. Ever since she was born.
All right. Do you or have you ever been responsible for taking her anywhere, transporting her in a car with a car seat?
Yes, sir. But where I go, she goes. She's the grandparent. She's my other.
Okay.
She called me. Everywhere I go, she wants to ride too. So I've been. She got a car seat a lot.
All right. So you've always kept a car seat in your car?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Until she was out of it. Now she's what?
She's in the booster seat now.
Okay. She's small for her age?
About average, but she's up sitting there up high so she can see out.
Okay. When she was younger, did you take her to daycare in the morning?
Yes, I have.
All right. Did you take her on the way to work?
Yes, sir, I have.
All right.
All days. The days I'm off, I take her. And the way to my drop off.
The days you're off, you take her.
Yeah, days I'm off of work.
All right.
I'll take her.
How many days a week would you take her?
One or two.
Who would take her on the days that her mother would? How far did you have to take her?
3 or 4 miles.
A couple miles?
Yes, sir.
All right. And was it always the exact same route, same time of day, so forth?
So pretty much.
Okay. Did you ever have any deviation? Did you ever stop for coffee or breakfast?
Take her daycare. But anywhere I went, normally she was going to ride with me. So I just let her ride.
What part of the county do you live in?
Very on Pine Ridge, down around Ballard, ballpark area, around Pumpkin Patch.
Okay. You indicated that you had some familiarity with hearing public service announcements, such as the Look Again campaign, reminding parents to double check their car for children. When would you have been exposed to?
I just seen them during commercial, we're watching TV, come across on commercial TV.
Okay. Is this something recent or that you've been exposed to over a period of time?
Over a period of time.
Have you noticed that it's seasonal, that you hear those public service announcements during warm weather months?
I can't recall.
Okay. You indicated you were familiar with similar public service announcements regarding not to leave an animal in a car.
Yes, sir, I've seen it on TV too.
On TV? You indicated that you have previously contested traffic citation?
Yes, sir.
Did not? Did you indicate that you or your spouse had previously had to hire an attorney?
Yes, I did. Before my divorce for her.
Okay. How long ago was that?
About 20 years ago.
All right. And I don't recall, did you indicate, was that a contested divorce?
No, it's not really.
Okay. Y'all worked it out, but you still had to have lawyers to kind of do the paperwork and go through the motions. Okay. That's the only time you've had to hire a lawyer.
No, one other time, I guess. I went back bankruptcy
Okay.
17 years ago.
All right, Mr. C, we'll ask you a couple of other things in private, okay? Thank you. Good morning.
All right. You are retired from the pulp mill, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Yes, sir.
I make a correction the other day. You
Absolutely.
asked if anyone ever lived in Cobb County. Well, I knew that I lived in Atlanta for a year.
Yes, sir.
I didn't know it was Cobb County, so when I got home, I asked my wife, and she says, yeah, Marietta, that's Cobb County. I said, okay, so
Yep, that's the center of Cobb County. You're exactly right. You couldn't be any more Cobb County than Marietta.
let me say, for as much as I've gone to Atlanta, I had 2 kids going to school there.
Yes, sir.
And wherever I went in Atlanta, I didn't know where I was at. I was watching traffic.
It's kind of like a vortex. Yeah.
Right. Anyway, I did live in Cobb County.
Okay, great. All right. And so, just kind of we'll go with that. Do you still have family there in Cobb County?
And not in Cobb. My son lives in Houston,
Yes.
and he works over by, what is it, where the Georgia University of Georgia.
Okay, yeah. Up in Athens?
Yeah, around Athens area.
All right. Okay, so going back to your work, how long did you work with the pulp mill?
24 years.
Okay. And was that most of your professional career, or did you do something else as well?
No, sir. I used to be in retail. That's how I was in Cobb County.
Okay.
I started out with Grant Company in around 69. And no more than that, about 68, 67. And I was with W.T. Grant. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but of course they went bankrupt.
Right.
And that's how I ended up in Cobb County. I went with Treasury stores there. And I was at Treasury after a year. A group of us formed our own Ben Franklin group. And that's how I ended up down here.
Okay. And so, since you've been with the mill, what has been what jobs have you held there? Or has it been the same one consistently over the time?
No, I like that. I enjoy doing different parts of it. Worked in machine rooms. I worked in maintenance, with maintenance farm. Set up for a year. We said I didn't want to do that anymore. I went back hourly. Worked out in the wood yard.
Okay. All right. And your wife is retired?
Yes.
And what type of work is she retired from?
She retired from the gas company.
Okay.
Atlanta Gas Line.
And what did she do there?
She was office assistant. Well, they classified that.
Okay. Now, during your roles there with the mill, and I guess before, you've had the opportunity to supervise people.
Not so much the mill, other than when I was switched supervisor capacity for the times that I did it.
Yes.
But you didn't have a hiring and firing capacity or whatsoever. You had a supervisory capacity to make sure things get done.
Right. Okay. And with the prior jobs before that, did you have those duties?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Now, you've known people who've been in law enforcement or people that are in law enforcement?
Yeah.
Okay. And just tell me a little about that. Are these like friends or people you just know from around here? Or?
My best friend, my fishing partner for last going on 20 years, is a retired highway patrol captain.
Okay.
We live across the street from each other.
Yes, sir.
We fish together. I know Robbie Jump, but he just happens to live next door to me.
Okay.
And then, of course, I know his dad because he'll be over there and I'll say hello, and that's about it. It's not a social thing.
Okay. It's not like y'all are so tight that you wouldn't be, I mean, obviously this case doesn't involve anybody from Glenn County, but those relationships, I assume, would in no way affect your ability to be fair to both sides in this case, correct?
No, sir. I mean, I can set aside.
Okay. You also know people who've served in the military, correct?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay, tell me about that.
My father-in-law, who's 95 and kicking today and doing well, World War II.
That's great.
I have a brother that had served 20 years active, 8 years reserve in the United States Marine Corps.
Wow.
And I served 4 years United States Navy.
We appreciate your service, sir.
Thank you.
Well, in addition to serving the country, you've served the community and being on juries before, correct?
Yes.
All right. How many juries have you been on?
You know,
As best you remember.
I think 2.
Okay. There's at least 2 that stick out in your mind.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, let's talk about those. First one, were they criminal, civil, one of each, or both, one or the other?
Both of them were civil, and I really can only remember one of them.
Okay.
What the case was about.
And was it here in Glenn County?
Yes, sir. It was probably 20 years ago.
Okay. And as far as you remember, were you as a jury, was the jury able to reach a verdict?
Yes.
And were you the foreperson?
No.
And on the second one, do you remember enough about it to remember if you even reached a verdict?
Oh, I don't. Yeah, no, I'm sure we did, but because I don't remember anything going on after that. But I don't even remember what it was about.
Okay. All right. Now, you attend a church or a local religious institution? Tell me about that.
I attend St. Francis.
Yes, sir. All right, and you are much like jurors 7 and 8. You don't do the whole texting stuff, correct?
No, sir, I still have a flip phone.
All right. Does it have internet access at all?
No.
All right. And as far as social media, do you use social media at all?
We have a laptop at home.
Okay.
As far as social media goes, my wife does Facebook with her children. I don't use it.
Okay. Has she tried to get you to get a Facebook page?
No, I'm not interested. I use the computer a lot, but I don't social media.
Yeah. My dad didn't do that for the longest, and now he does, and he's always on there too. Like it's funny because now he's into it and posts pictures of the kids and things like that. Because my mother though, she's never gotten a page. It was interesting, weird. Anyway, so all those social media things that I talked about. Have you heard? Let me go through that list. Have you heard of YouTube?
YouTube, like I said, I use the computer a lot.
Yes, sir.
You asked if I use YouTube the other day, and I said, no, I don't, but I got to thinking about it. If I'm working on a lawnmower or something, I say, dadgum, what do you do to get this right? I'll go to YouTube and pull up a work video.
Yes.
That's how I use YouTube.
Yeah, so if you want to look for something, learn how to do something, then you go to YouTube. Okay. All right. How about Instagram?
No.
Okay. Craigslist. You ever bought anything off Craigslist?
I bought a boat out of Atlanta off of Craigslist.
All right.
No fishing boat.
Okay. Twitter?
No.
Reddit?
Never heard of it.
Kick?
Never heard of that till here.
Okay. Backpage?
No.
Whisper?
No.
Scout?
No.
Snapchat?
I know about Snapchat, but I've never used it.
Okay. All right. I believe you stated that you have watched or listened to some type of like legal documentary or some legal case. Either. Go ahead.
I'm going to go back to the O.J. Simpson trial and the Peterson trial. I think about the only legal things I've ever involved in on TV.
Okay. All right. And when you said that you'd also followed a criminal case before in the media, was that the same type of things?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, obviously, with kids and things like that, you volunteered with kids before?
I've coached Little League baseball, and and you get involved in the soccer when your kids are growing up.
Yes, sir. I believe you've had the opportunity to care for somebody who's been sick or disabled.
Yeah, that's true. Hung on for 9 years, and that was rough. But
Yes, sir. Okay. I believe you stated that you've had to give a statement to the police before. Was that like in a car accident or break-in or?
I had fishing rods stolen out of my garage.
Okay.
My beer refrigerator robbed out of my garage.
I assume that was a felony arrest. That should have been a felony arrest.
A felony arrest.
Yes.
That's that sort of thing. That's about it.
Okay. Did they also take the beer in the refrigerator?
Well, that's where it was. I had a cold case of Budweiser, and they took it.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yes, I was too. A number of years ago.
All right. You have actually, I believe somebody you know has experienced the sudden death of a child.
I was going to go back, and the recent thing was, like I said, I lived next door to Robbie John.
Yes.
And they just, when I attended that service like many other people did. Young and changed heaven.
Yes, sir. All right, I really don't have anything else. What do you like to do in your free time? What are your hobbies? It sounds like you like to fish.
I love to fish.
Okay.
And I got a little workshop that I mess around in, not as much as I used to, but I still do.
All right, great. Well, I think we'll talk about a couple of things with you individually later, but thank you.
Sir, I'm not sure that I know what funeral or what service you're talking about. Maybe it's something somebody else had mentioned and we just didn't pick up on.
Service about what, sir?
You said you attended a funeral with the sheriff's son?
Oh, yes. His boy died.
Okay.
An infant, I think, lived maybe 10 minutes, 5 minutes. They had a lot of trouble with pregnancy.
Okay. And this was something recently?
Yes, sir. I want to say probably another 5-6 weeks ago.
Okay.
That long ago.
And he lives, you said, either next door or across the street?
He lives next door to me.
Okay. All right. When was it that you lived in Cobb County?
Okay, let me think. Had to be about 77, 78.
Okay. And how long did you live there?
A year.
And you were in the retail business at that time?
Yes, sir.
All right. And you just couldn't recall that it was Marietta? Okay. And do you know what part of Marietta?
Lord, no.
Okay.
I could get that information from my wife. She'd have that.
All right. But you have, in fact, been back to the Atlanta area several times since you lived there.
Yes, only because my children were going to school there.
Right. Where were they going to school?
Georgia Tech.
Okay. And you mentioned difficulty with the traffic there?
Yes, sir.
You ever get off on the wrong exit down there?
Oh, yeah. And if you're not in the right lane, you're in trouble. Best I can remember from Atlanta. I haven't been back to Atlanta and driven through Atlanta in probably 6-7 years. Now I have gone, and I can't think of it now, you get off I-20 and the town where my son used to live, and I can't think of it, Cummings. Is that right? I'm not sure. I can't remember. I don't even think about Atlanta.
Cumming is north of Atlanta. Does that sound right?
It would be, yeah. It would be because I know if you wanted to go, you got off on 20, you see the downtown Atlanta sign, it's like 20 miles downtown Atlanta. But that wasn't too bad because you stayed on I go back roads 341, 441, and then just exit off and get on I-20 and then I'm home.
Did you fill out one of the little? Did you fill out one of the little juror slips for jury service?
You mean to have myself removed from the jury?
No, I'm talking about just to where you get the summons. Did you fill out any slip that you had to send back in on what you got here?
There's a copy of it if you'd like to see it.
Talking about this small little form there. fill that out, or did your wife fill
My wife filled it out.
I'm sorry?
My wife filled it out.
Okay. I figured that was the case because her birth date showed up on there and yours did not. So I figured that she'd probably just filled it out for you.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, that's okay.
Okay. I can tell you her, well, it says name of spouse.
Yeah.
And then she put her age. Okay.
I'm looking at the line right above that. It was blank, and I didn't know if you had intentionally left it blank.
No, sir. She just didn't fill it in. I can give it to you.
Okay. I'm not going to make you tell us your date of birth, but I didn't know if perhaps you were aware that at a certain age, at 70, you can request not to serve.
Well, sir, I understand that. And I also found out once you got hit with a summons that you better get down there and sign up so they don't get you again, but you're obligated. So that's why I'm here.
Okay. So you are not asking to be removed for age purposes?
For age reasons, no, sir. Now, if you're asking me if I would rather not serve on a jury, I'll tell you I'd rather not serve on the jury. But I will do what's required.
Okay. You'd rather not serve, but you don't want to request to be excused. You don't want to exercise that right.
Well, like I said, I was instructed I didn't have that right once I was summoned.
Okay. Who told you that?
Well, okay. I did not get that directly from the court. I got it through the fact that my wife was on summons to 6-month court, or I'm trying to think of it myself, grand jury.
Grand jury.
Okay. And she was over 70. And she called them, said, they said, hey, if you should have signed up, you can sign yourself up for the next time. So she has. I haven't yet, but
Okay.
I know.
All right. Well, if you had the opportunity to exercise that right today and fill out one of those forms, would you like to do that to ask to be excused? Because you have that right under the law.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll speak with the jury administrator about that for you and get you one of those forms. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anybody else? 70 or older here. All right, no? Okay. Dropping like flies. Okay, juror number 10. How are you?
Okay.
All right. That's okay. All right, you work as a legal clerk at RGL. How long do you work there?
The 25th of this month will be 16 years.
Okay. And is that basically, have you worked in that capacity basically most of your professional career?
Before that, I worked at Bagcott Furniture for 8.5 years.
Okay.
Before that, I worked at Rogers Drugs for 4.5 years.
Okay. In your current job as a legal clerk, kind of what's your day-to-day duties?
We have to do with preparing suits and garnishments.
Okay.
And making sure everything is right before it's sent to the court.
Okay. Gotcha. And your husband works at Georgia Pacific?
Yes.
And what does he do there?
He works in the powerhouse.
Okay. And how long has he worked there?
31 years.
Okay. Now, do you supervise people in your current job?
No, I don't.
Okay. Have you before?
I had when I worked at the Dollar Tree. Did I say the Dollar Tree? Okay. Well, there was a Dollar Tree in between there.
Okay.
And I was assistant manager there.
Okay. And as assistant manager, in addition to supervising, could you hire and fire?
Yes, I did.
You known somebody who's been in the military before? Okay, tell me about that.
My daddy was in the Air Force, and I have several uncles that were in the 2 were in the Navy, and 1 was in the Air Force, and then my brother-in-law was in the Army.
Okay. All right, and you've known somebody that's got some type of legal training, obviously, with the work you do, I assume. Is that an attorney you work with?
Yes.
Okay. And has that attorney ever handled criminal law or anything like that?
Not that I know of.
Okay. I believe you also stated that you know people who work in the medical field.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
My aunt is an RN, and my cousin and her daughter are both RNs.
Great. Now, you've actually served on a jury before?
I have.
Okay. How many times?
I was dismissed before I ever got here first time, and the second time I made it to this box.
Right.
And then they dismissed it.
Okay. So you've never actually had to sit and listen to the evidence or anything? All right. Now, you're somebody, you do not deal with social media?
I text,
Okay.
and I do have Google on my phone.
Google, so you can like Google stuff and look it up on the internet.
Every now and then, but I'm not really into all that. That's my kids' thing.
Okay. Are you on Facebook at all? Okay. I'm gonna read off all this stuff again and see if you have ever heard of it or used it. Instagram.
I've heard of it, but I don't use it.
Okay. YouTube.
I've heard of it, but I don't use it.
Okay. I'm just going to read through a list, and you tell me after I'm done if you've heard any, or actually if you've used any of these. Okay. Craigslist, Twitter, Reddit, Kick, Backpage, Whisper, Scout, and Snapchat. Okay. That's what I figured. That's why I went down that way. All right. I believe you watch some legal TV shows?
I do.
Tell me, what do you watch?
I watch Law and Order. And the reason I watch that is on while I'm trying to get ready for work.
Okay. Which one is it? There's about 17 of them. So.
It's the one that comes on from 5 to 6. It's just a regular Law and Order.
Okay. The normal one, I guess.
Normal one, I guess.
All right. Any other shows like that?
I watch Criminal Minds. Some. I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't seem to have a lot of time for that.
Okay. I believe you stated you've either watched or listened to some type of documentary or pseudo-documentary of legal issues.
Like the O.J. Simpson thing, and the one with the little baby. In Orlando, they had the trial in Orlando.
Oh, the Casey Anthony?
That's it.
Okay. Okay. You've actually had to care for somebody who's been sick or disabled?
Yes, sir. Both of my in-laws, my mother-in-law had a brain aneurysm in 99.
Yes, ma'am.
And she just passed away a year ago.
Okay.
And then my father-in-law had cancer for 5 years.
Okay.
And then my dad was sick too, and I helped with him.
I believe you've known somebody who's been investigated or something regarding an issue of child abuse or neglect or something like that?
My daughter's husband now. Sorry, I didn't think
Yes.
that.
Yeah. Okay. I got you.
His daughter had an issue with him, but it was just her.
Okay. And so something was reported to DFACS and it didn't go anywhere?
But it didn't go anywhere.
Okay. You've known somebody who's had to deal with the sudden death of a child before?
I did.
Okay, tell me about that.
Her daughter was on ATV.
Whose daughter? Is this a friend? I'm sorry.
A friend of mine.
Okay.
She was my neighbor for several years, and then after we moved, she actually came to work where I'm at now. So
Okay.
we kept in touch. But her daughter was 14, and she did not have a helmet on, and she ran into a tree.
I'm sorry to hear that. You actually, you have family in Cobb?
I have like everybody else, I'm not sure if it's called.
Okay.
My cousin, who was a nurse at Wheeler, they live in Kennesaw.
That's in Cobb.
Okay. And then her brother, he lives in Ackworth.
And that's also in Kennesaw. Okay. Okay, I mean, in Cobb County, not in Kennesaw. That's also in Cobb County. Do you know what hospital your cousin works at?
I do not.
Okay. And do you know what type of work she does? Like she's specialized?
The doctor's office.
Okay.
I'm not sure right now, but I'm not sure about her daughter.
Okay. And I know you've transported children before. You've got, let's see, 3 grandchildren?
I do.
15, 5, and 9. Are they all local or?
Well, the 15-year-old is actually my
Yes.
granddaughter, and my daughter recently got married last year,
But before that, when she was divorcing her husband, they lived with us for 3 years.
Okay. Okay. And the 5 and 9-year-old, are they local?
They are.
Okay. And do you transport them to daycare or anything like that? Okay. And how often?
Whenever I was needed to. They lived with us, so if something happened and we had one child going to this school and another child going to that school. Yes. We had that going on. So.
I understand. So it wasn't like you just had one place to go. It was, you were going back and forth. Okay. All right. I think there are a couple other things we're going to ask you a little bit later. I appreciate it.
Good morning. You said you followed the O.J. Simpson and Casey Anthony case. When we're talking about the O.J. Simpson case, are you talking about 22 years ago or the recent?
I didn't look at that one.
Did not see that. Okay. And then the case in Florida was a couple of years ago, and you watched coverage of that?
I watched some of that, yes.
Right. Followed it on the news, read about it or whatnot? All right. Did you ever watch any court proceedings that were streamed online?
No, because I don't do online.
Okay.
If it didn't go on the TV, I didn't see it.
Did you see any court proceedings on TV that you can? Okay.
We were actually on vacation in Orlando at the time that was going on, so
okay.
that's all that was on the TV.
You couldn't get away from it. All right. After the case, did you ever do any follow-up research on your own? Did you ever look anything up on the internet that had to do with the case? Did you ever follow up on the attorneys involved in the case? Okay. Once you stopped seeing it on TV, you didn't have any more interest in it. Is that fair to say? Okay. All right. Your employer, RGL Associates, I don't know what that is or what they do.
It's a billing and accounts receivable or collection agency, something if you want to call it. It's a collection agency. Okay. We have a billing department also.
So it is not a law practice? Okay. And your friend who lost a daughter, I did not catch how long ago that was.
Yeah, I really don't. I would say it's been over 10 years.
Okay. And did you have the ability to be there for her to help her after this happened?
I saw her a little later. I didn't know about it exactly at the time it happened, but I saw her 2 or 3 weeks later. Because I get a paper, but I don't read it.
Okay. So it's fair to say y'all weren't close friends. She wasn't calling you.
No, she wasn't calling me.
Right. So
she wasn't calling me.
2 or 3 weeks later, you wouldn't have even been in a position to go to the funeral then?
No.
Okay. Okay. You had a couple answers. We'll follow up in a few minutes. Thank you.
All right. Juror 11. Okay. You sell window treatments?
No,
Install, I'm sorry. How long have you worked in that field? 15 years. Is that majority of your professional career you've done that type of work, or done something else too?
I was a commercial fisherman before that.
Okay. Was that here out of Brunswick? You from Brunswick? Okay. And your spouse works at Waffle House, correct? All right. All right. You know somebody who's been in the military before?
My dad.
All right. And y'all attend church somewhere here in the Brunswick area, correct?
Correct.
And where do y'all go? Okay, I think you're another juror. You don't follow social media or get into all that? Okay, do you text message? Okay. Okay, with social media, you know all that list of stuff I read out earlier? YouTube. And what do you use YouTube for?
Just how
Okay. Now, you actually do watch some kind of legal TV shows or something like that, correct?
to. What Joe Kendall.
Joe Kendall. Okay. You given a statement to the police before about some incident or something? Tell me about that.
I was an eyewitness to a store robbery.
Wow. Do you know if they ever caught the people who did it?
I'm not sure.
Okay. I believe you stated you've known somebody who's been arrested before.
All his daughter.
Okay. I don't want to pry too much, but
Simple battery.
simple battery. Okay. Was it like? Was it something that happened inside the home or something outside the home with like a? I don't want to try to guess what happened, but.
She just knew the guy she was living with, and his boyfriend showed up, and
Okay.
things got started. They took over.
Okay. And do you know enough about her to have an opinion as to whether she was treated fairly or not? Okay. I believe you stated that you've known somebody who suffered the sudden death of a child?
My sister-in-law.
Okay. I'm sorry to hear that. How old was he? And just, how did he pass? Okay. I believe you stated that you know somebody who's done online dating or met somebody they've been in a relationship before on the computer.
His daughter.
Okay. You know, I don't have any other questions for you right now. We'll talk to you in a little bit. Thank you.
Good morning. All right. So you, most of your career, you worked as a commercial fisherman?
Window treatments.
Okay. How long have you been doing this work?
Which one?
Window treatments.
15 years.
Okay. All right. Your daughter, I want to follow up on that. You say that she was arrested for simple battery. It was apparently some sort of domestic situation. Was she living here in the area when she was arrested?
Yes.
You said they were both arrested, meaning she and the boyfriend, I guess. Ex-boyfriend. All right. Did you help her out with that? Did she have to get a lawyer?
I believe she had a public defender.
Okay. And were y'all estranged at the time, or did she ask for help?
That she had to help.
Okay.
I ended up bonding her out.
Okay. So you did help her to some extent. You bonded her out. Okay. Did y'all have a discussion about whether or not you could help her hire an attorney? Did not? She didn't ask for help? Okay. Are y'all close?
Yeah.
Okay. How long ago did this happen?
Last year.
Okay. Just a year ago? Did you ever go to court with her?
No.
Did she have a trial?
No.
is her case completed? Is it over, or is it still pending?
I think it's still there.
Okay. So she has not gone to trial yet? Kids are 6 and 8, right?
Yes, sir.
Do they both live with you?
No, sir.
Does either one of them live with you? No. Okay. So she lives with you, but she doesn't have kids.
Right, she doesn't have kids.
Right?
Right.
And this is the same daughter that you said you believe did online dating?
I think she's had someone one time.
Okay. And you know this because she told you?
Yeah.
Okay.
She told my wife.
All right. Thank you.
Last but not least, Juror 12, you answered a lot of questions when we asked them. Why? I'm just kidding. Actually, a lot of them we're going to be taking up alone in private anyway, so this won't take that long because we're going to kind of cut to the chase through some of this stuff, and then we'll take the other stuff up in a bit, okay? All right. You're CFO, CPA. Have you always worked in that business, that profession, as a CPA or in finance?
Yes. I've been in the banking profession for 16 years. Before that, I was a public accountant for about 7 years.
Okay, and you know somebody who's a prosecutor, and you also know somebody who's a defense attorney?
Yes, sir.
Okay, tell me about the first. Who do you know that's a prosecutor?
Well, he was a prosecutor. He was a district attorney.
Okay. Hodges, yeah. How do you know Keon?
I'm from Albany.
Okay.
And I've been doing it a long time.
All right. How long has it been since you left Albany?
16 years.
Okay. All right. So you probably don't know Chris Cahilas, do you?
I know who he is.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. All right. How about any defense attorneys? You know somebody, I guess Ken actually practices criminal law now, some, but...
Right.
Okay.
I've had the fortune of knowing many attorneys in professional business.
Okay.
In the banking business, clients, customers, provide service for the bank.
Okay. I guess to kind of cut to the chase on all that, any of those relationships that would impact your ability to be fair to both sides in this case? And when you stated that you've know people who work in the court system, is it those attorneys or some other people too?
Those attorneys. I'm also know Judge Baldwin.
You stated you've also known some folks who work in law enforcement?
Yes.
Okay. Is that here in Glenn County or elsewhere?
Several of them work at Lexi.
Okay.
Law enforcement, U.S. Marshals, Capitol Police, IRS. A good friend of mine is a GBI agent.
And do you know most of these people just from social settings as opposed to work, or do they actually investigate some things that go on with the bank sometimes too?
That's social.
Okay. All right. This is kind of my same, I guess, in the same topic about military. People that you know who've been in the military?
I've got family that served, currently served.
You've been on a jury before?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was that here in Glenn County?
No, sir.
Okay. Where, back in Doherty?
No, it was in Lowndes County.
Lowndes, okay. And about how long ago?
It was probably between 5 and 10 years ago. I moved up here 5 years ago.
Do you remember if it was a criminal or civil case?
It was a criminal case.
And what was the case about? What were the charges, if you remember?
It involved drug trafficking.
Without telling me what your verdict was, were you able to reach a verdict?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and were you the foreperson?
Yes, sir.
You also attend church here in the area?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and what church do you go to?
I'm a member at Wesley United Methodist.
All right. And so you text, and then you also use other applications to message on your cell phone?
Yes, Facebook Messenger.
Yes, sir. Okay. As far as social media, that list I read, let me just go through it real quick. Do you use Facebook in addition to Messenger, regular old Facebook?
Facebook's the only other one, but most of those other applications you mentioned, I've never heard of until yesterday.
Okay, fair enough. Now, you watch some legal TV shows?
Yes, sir. I've watched Law and Order, NCIS, not frequent or regular.
Okay. And have you ever watched a documentary or a docudrama or something about a criminal case, or listened to a podcast about one?
My wife was watching something Sunday night, actually, about the John Benet Ramsey
Yes, sir.
case, but I'm not really paying much attention to it.
Okay. And you volunteered in the past with children?
Yes, sir.
Is that with your own kids?
Yes, I'm Scoutmaster for a Boy Scout troop on the island.
Okay.
And we have about 30 scouts, 35 scouts. And in the past, I've coached baseball, football for my kids, volunteered Sunday school teacher.
I believe you've actually had to testify before in a court proceeding or something. Is it part of your job having to do that, or?
It was.
Okay.
I was engaged to be an expert witness in the case.
All right. Okay. Let's see. I think pretty much the rest of the stuff we can talk about in private. When you have free time, if you have any, what do you like to do?
It's mostly centered around my kids.
Okay.
Activities are very long. Watch college football.
All right. Are you a Bulldogs fan? Okay. All right. Thank you.
Right there at the end, I didn't catch what you said. You were engaged as an expert witness in what context?
Yes, sir. There was a fraud case, and there's a court-appointed receiver in the case, and I was engaged to help the receiver trace the flow of funds in the fraud case, and I was a witness in that case, which was in a superior court, and then there's also a federal case, and the U.S. attorney engaged me to be an expert witness in that trial as well.
All right, the case in Superior Court, what county was that in? Tift County?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And was it Ken Hodges' firm that hired you for that?
No, sir. It was a law firm out of Macon called Law Garland and Meyer.
Right. And essentially you were a financial expert?
Yes, sir.
You were asked to review documents or records and then offer an opinion?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Pretty much. It was a Ponzi scheme.
Okay.
And it involved many investors and a lot of money.
Is that the first time that you'd ever been called upon to serve in that capacity?
Yes, sir.
Do you know how they found you or got to you to do that?
At the time, I was working for a public accounting firm.
Okay.
And the initial engagement was technically with the firm that I work for.
All right.
And I had done some smaller investigations for customers or clients with the firm. And when that engagement came up, they assigned it to me.
Okay. And then the federal case was after that?
The federal case was after that. I was engaged individually.
By the U.S. Attorney?
Yes.
What district?
Middle District.
Was it the same kind of subject matter?
Yes.
Ponzi scheme?
It was the same case.
Oh, same case. So the case started in Superior Court and you followed it all the way to the Middle District?
Correct.
All right. Being from Albany and knowing Ken Hodges, were y'all personal friends or just, acquaintances in the community professionally?
Socially and professionally. We weren't personal friends.
Okay.
Didn't send Christmas cards to each other.
Okay. Do you still see him or have any contact with him throughout the year?
No, sir. I haven't spoken with him in 16 years.
Oh, okay. You indicated you go to Wesley United Methodist.
Yes, sir.
Did you notice some other jurors that were here the first day you came in that were members of your congregation?
No, sir.
Did not. Okay.
You're talking about when the first day last week?
That's right.
I don't recall seeing him or anything like that.
Okay. We've had a couple. In fact, we had two on the first panel that came in. Nobody came up to you Sunday at church and mentioned that they were in the jury pool as well, did they?
No, sir.
You indicated that you had done some research on the lawyers involved in this case. When did you do that?
It was actually, sorry, Connor, it was the judge. When I received the jury summons, it listed the judge, and I did not recognize the judge's name as being a local judge, so I Googled her name and
Okay.
determined that she was from Cobb County.
All right. When you got your summons, you thought, that's not one of our judges.
Right.
Looked her up.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that's the extent of what you wanted to share with us when you answered yes to that question.
That's all of it.
Okay. Well, that's why we asked. All right, and you too indicated that you had some familiarity with hearing public service announcements, such as the Look Again campaign, or any kind of PSA reminding parents to double check their car for children.
Yes, sir. I can't recall when or any specific, but I want to say I saw a news story when those came out. But I can't recall when that was.
Okay. So was it a public service announcement, do you think, or was it an account of an event that had happened, a story of a child left in a car?
I can't recall.
That's okay. But you think it's something you heard on TV?
Yes, sir.
All right. So what products have you heard of or are you familiar with to help prevent parents from accidentally leaving a child in a car?
Well, the only thing I'm aware of is vehicles, there's now some sort of a, I don't know, alert or warning signal or something that either you can have added or use. My stepmother was telling me about it.
Your stepmother was telling you about it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Basically something that General Motors or one of the auto manufacturers is providing as an option, as a safety or security option that you can get.
Yes, sir. She has an Acadia, and I guess it either came with it or was an option that came with it.
Oh, it's on the vehicle she has now?
I believe so.
Did she show you how it works?
Yes.
All right. Well, if it's optional, do you know why she went with that option? Does she regularly transport grandchildren?
Judge, I want to object to this at this point. I don't believe this is relevant to the subject matter we're trying to get at.
We've been asking, this was a general question that I'm following up on, and we've been asking about this for over a week.
Judge, nobody's asked about somebody else and why they decided on an option on a car yet.
I'm allowed over objection.
Do you know?
No.
You or your spouse, one, and had to hire an attorney previously? Is that something you can tell us about?
Personally or professionally?
Well, personally.
Sure. It was me. My previous employer was a bank that didn't survive the recession.
Okay.
And I was an executive officer of that bank. And as a result of that closure, there was a need to engage an attorney to represent him.
All right. I may follow up with that in a few minutes. That's all I'm asking about right now. Thank you.
We'll take a morning recess. Let's see if we can come back at 10 till 11. Keep an open mind. Do not discuss this matter with each other. If you you don't have your phones or anything. You can't do anything. So don't do anything. It's very simple. They'll have a good, nice break and enjoy each other's company.
Judge, sorry. 10 till 11, that's 3 minutes from now.
Not by my watch. Okay, well, I'll fix my watch.
Sorry.
That's okay. But it's Mr. Evans' duty to do this, not yours,
He's
Mr.
sleeping over here,
Bourne.
Judge, sorry.
Well, my watch is off. And I can't, that one doesn't look right to me. So let's say 10 after. And I will correct my timepiece, which is very old school. Thank you, Mr. Bourne. Mr. Chestnut. We're in recess.